Hello, this is Jared. I'm looking at doing the next project. This is mostly going to be, okay, now that I've had the lathe for a while, I'm going to do a little bit of a review, kind of talk about some of the things I like and dislike about it. Just going to be a quick overview. I don't want to make this video to be too long. But right now my next thing I'm probably going to do is work on some of these chainsaws before I get to that. Because I was going to do a review, but then I'm probably going to do some lathe work to be able to make the change gear that's in the lathe with that camera sitting on. It's a G0704. But I'm going to ask if you want, see if I get enough response or anything, anybody has preference of which chainsaw that I'm going to start working on. I did a video where I tried to mess around with this one just to see if I could get it running. It wasn't mine. I've never had any experience with this one. But I pulled out all the other chainsaws and some of the different things that I've been wanting to try with this one and try with that one. So let me show you, go over these. I'll see if I can hold this still enough without bouncing it around. All right, so I grabbed up most all of them. There's one other one. It's like a Craftsman one, but it's basically a Husqvarna design. But it's in pieces over there, so I'm not gonna bother with it. This was an old steel. I don't know what era it really is. I haven't really looked into it, but it's got that size of a bar on it. I think it was just mostly missing a hose. I wanted to try. I've never seen that one run. My dad had that one, so that's why I was pulling it apart, and I found it was wrong with it. It had a vacuum line that was wrong. This one was basically my go-to one. I pulled the carburetor off there, so I'm just gonna do some carburetor. Set it around. I'm gonna do some cleanup because it got dirty. But I'm gonna get the carburetor put back together. It probably needed a rebuild, but I actually put it in some fluid to see if I can soften up the gaskets. This one you saw in the last video, I think it's mostly just the ignition. I don't think it has spark. The carburetor probably has to get some cleaned up with it too. This one, on the other hand, I seized that sucker up. So I'm probably gonna try to do something to break it loose to see if I can get that one going. So that one might be a full pull apart project. Some of these are going to be like the big one on the end, and this one here will be me disassembling the whole thing, trying to break it apart, see if I can even fix it. I run it, and I'm pretty sure that I did seize it up. It won't turn it over, but where I actually seized it up is probably the rings. And this one here I think is a similar issue to this one. I think it's got an ignition issue. Let it set for a while, and maybe it just needs the, I took the spark plug out, I don't know where that's at, but I'll have to just get a spark plug for it. But I'm pretty sure it's something to do with either magneto or something, to see if it's maybe a bad wire thing or just something like that. So I think it's most electronic. That one and this one are the same issues. That one's seized, that one get the carburetor, that one fuel line and carburetor and reassemble it. All the other, see here's some of the parts for it. So it's a big chainsaw. That one's a bigger one. So put in the comments if you have a preference on which one you'd like me to do first. Some of these smaller ones, like maybe this one, I think I want to go back to this one. I kind of where I'm thinking maybe tinker with this one a little bit and that one, but I'll probably, if I get to doing a bunch of stuff with them, it'll probably be separate videos. All right, so let me go over here. We're going to talk about the lathe. So let me get it set up here. All right, hopefully, I don't know if this is the best setup. Let me see if it'll. All right, try it. Okay, so this is the lathe. It's a G0602. It's, geez, I can't remember what it is. A 10 by 22. So now I honestly think I had a better quality the mill. I mean, there's a few things I could like maybe about the mill, but you know, you have the lead screw design that most people do. When they go to CNC stuff, put ball screws and stuff like that in them. I mean, it does fine, I think, for what it is. It could be a bigger machine, be more stable, but these are like smaller hobby machines. They're like on the verge. That's why I got this size one. I would have liked to have gotten a bigger one, but for that price range, my motivation for getting this new lathe is because I was inexperienced at the time, and I didn't, you know, if the thing was wore out here and there, I wouldn't necessarily know. So I went through cutting my teeth through this one, learning a lot of machining techniques and stuff like that, training. But I at least wanted to start from at least a ground zero type of thing with this one. Because I thought maybe the waves were bad, they didn't grind it right, but it was, I have a different video. You can go back and look through my list. I changed out the center, geez, I can't remember the name of it. The center shaft, the main spindle, that's what it is, the spindle. The spindle facing, it has a screw, like a thread, I think it is, or maybe it's a 4th thread. But I changed it all out. I just got them to replace it because we're still under warranty. So I'm not gonna put the new bearings in just because if I'm gonna pull it apart, I had issues with the thing, dirty and everything. So I wasn't happy about that, but okay, all that said and done, I've used it for a while, so I think some of the things have settled in. And I think that was kind of the key thing. I've been able to do not too bad of work on it, but would I like to have a reversibility? That would be nice. It would be nice to have a carriage feed, you know, but this is obviously too small of a one. My thing of it is I don't think this is a square. I think the ways are pretty good on it. This one actually has hardened and ground ways according to the spec sheet. But this cross slide, I have issues with it. I don't know what I'm going to do to really resolve it, or if I'm just going to keep using it, because it doesn't really affect it so much. But if I crank it, let me see if I can do it. It's been sitting here. I had to just wipe this down with some oil. But when I crank it all this way, because I've tried to get to where I had the play out of it, because it did have a little bit of play. I know some other people try to get some stability. I've seen people just take this cross slide off if they're not going to use the cross slide and just mount a heavy duty block. So you don't have the flex in this thing. I thought about making a different plate for this too, but it's kind of actually crushed down. So, but if I take the gibs and tighten them up all the way, and then I go from one side to the other, one side gets tighter than the other, and that could only mean that it's not as balanced as it is. And I don't know if I thought about putting some lapping compound in there and see if I can just sort of work it out. I don't know if that's advice. So I haven't touched it. I might just leave it, and maybe it'll eventually wear in, and I can just keep adjusting them. If it's tighter there, it'll maybe grind more. I haven't seen a whole lot of problems with it as far as my machining per se. It probably would be, but for what I'm doing right now, that's not a problem. This one, I have a 4-jaw chuck here. It has a 3-jaw chuck, but that was the other thing I did is I'm not sure if that's what they did. I don't know how they manufactured this thing, because it had grinding dust and crap in it everywhere. When I put the oil through the thing to oil the bearings, like grinding powder was coming out of it everywhere. So this one, the 3-jaw was fine on it. It felt like, you know, I put it in there, it seemed fine. But when I put the 4-jaw on it, after I finally put the 4-jaw on it, because it took me a while before I ever did, and the thing, I realized I couldn't get everything worked in there because it was going like this. It was unbalanced. And it was the facing. It wasn't just like, well, maybe take a surface cut on the back plate. It was that's why I replaced the spindles, because the facing of the spindle wasn't that. And I'm like, I just want to start from, you know, make them be good to their product and stuff, you know, Chinese built, everything like that, for the best what you can get for the money. But so I did that. So then the other spindle was good. So I put the back plate on there. I trued that up to I took a grind on it, got that on there, so I don't have any problems with that. You know, as true as these trucks are on here, they're not really super. I don't think this is that bad over the 4-jaw chuck. I don't have any issues with it. You know, the 3-jaw is a 3-jaw. It's not an adjustable 3-jaw. But I did put this on here, the quick change. I do like that. I mean, there's some other ones maybe be a little bit different, but I do like this better than what I had on there. It does a little bit better for me, so I can adjust it. Because shimmying it and trying to find things to put different tools. I'm on a budget, so I just kind of get what I have. You know, a lot of times I get little eBay tools and some of the kind of carbide that you get, that whatever they get. But anyways, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Overall, it doesn't do too bad for me. Can I do some things better with it? Yeah. I have the belt drive. You know, some of the other ones you can change things better, the gear changes and everything, but to change the speeds, I have to change the belt on this. I thought about, maybe I'll show you, because I've seen somebody else had done it. Let me go here in the back. I don't never, if you see that, I just put this little pin. I don't put this screw in there because it does have like a thing in there to keep the screw closed. But if you got to get in here and change anything, maintain it, you have to unscrew it and take it off there. I haven't cleaned it. I've been meaning to do that. Let it sit. I got so many other things to deal. Now I got like a bunch of dogs I'm dealing with. But I was thinking about putting something in here to just add a gear, because I think that's the way it is. If it's just tooth count to tooth count, because that's how you change the speeds, is you have a bigger gear and a small gear, and then it changes it from there. But if I were to just put one in here, it wouldn't really matter, because it would be tooth count this way, tooth count to this way to make it reverse. It's maybe a long project down there. I'd rather have cross slide feed first before I had something like this. But if I'm having this one, unless I could afford to get like a big full size one, this would be a nice project to do. But that's way down there. I'm going to do the change gears that I have. What did I do with those? I mentioned that in my last video, is that I bought these here. These just these stock gears, but I'm going to try to make some sort of a change gear. So the change gear that's inside the mill. Here, I got my here. Let me back up so I can swing over here. So this here, it's the change gears for the high and low. It's a combo gear, and it's the plastic is what's broke. So I moved this here because before I got this lathe, I bought like an R8 to make another chuck on it. That's actually the chuck for it here. This chuck is, yeah, I think this is the chuck. I made this plate with my rotary table, and this, oh God, this is not focused. Get that out of my way. Okay, so yeah, I got this rotary table and I made this plate, and then this came out of my R8. There's an adapter plate. I bought a thing so I could try to use this as doing a little bit of lathe work on it. I messed around with that, but then I just ended up getting this lathe. But anyways, I wanted to get the change gears fixed so I can do the high and low. Maybe eventually I do like a belt drive. That seems to be pretty popular with those, but that's what I wanted to do, is take these gears and make that for now, instead of just completely changing it with a belt drive. But anyways, that was my kind of quick update here. Just mention about my lathe. It's not too bad. I didn't go with the smaller one because some of them didn't even have hardened ways, and I'd prefer it to seem like it would last better and have a little bit heavier duty, but could have some more. It's got pretty good level of thread pitch capability. I would like a cross slide feed so I don't have to hand crank it. A little bit more rigidity, but you know, for the size of it, wasn't too bad. But the cross slide, I think, is the biggest issue, with that little bit of a taper issue. It's gotten better, so I think it has kind of wore in a little bit. Whether these ways with the gibs are hardened, I'm not really sure. The main bed ways probably are, but I'm not really sure on that. So I don't know if it's just sort of settling, and that's what I kind of assume. So other than that, some of the ball oilers, I'm trying to figure out. I try to just tap it out, and I put something here. I think some other people, I just put oil so I can oil it. Try to find the best way to oil some of the things here. But anyways, so that's kind of where I'm at with it. I'm going to do that project. My biggest pet peeve about it is probably just some of those things that could be a little bit machined and a little bit better quality of machine. For the most part, it is pretty good. I haven't had any issues with it. Then what it came with, resolved that, and then the cross slide and some other tight and rigidity issues. So anyways, if you got any comments or anything, any advice on some things, go ahead and throw those in the comments. If you got a preference on which chainsaw I should probably mess around with, and throw it out there. I'm trying to figure out some projects to do. I got plenty of work to do, so I'm going to work on. Yeah, this cross, I didn't even mention this, but this one doesn't seem too bad. I don't really have any issues with this. It'd be nice if it had a thrust bearing in it, because it doesn't. It's just like a plate, I think, a little bronze or something. It'd be better if it could be smoother and I could have it tighter. I don't do too bad with the cross slide, but DROs would be nice and stuff too. But anyways, so if you got any comments on anything, like I said, throw that in there. You know, I'm working on a little bit of projects in there. I'm always messing around tinkering with stuff, and some of the videos seem to not be doing too bad. Some people seem to have interest in that, so while I'm doing work stuff around here, messing with stuff, because I'm always on a budget. Most people are, so I'm always trying to find workarounds for things, because I've been doing that for years, so I'm pretty good at it. So I'm going to continue to do that, and I'm just going to make videos of those, and seem to get pretty good reception. Maybe one day I'll be able to sell t-shirts or something, who knows. Okay, anyways, I appreciate you watching the video. I think it's long enough for now, so like, subscribe, do all that good stuff. Thanks, appreciate it.